Hello, my name is Oso, and today we'll be going over how to do Pseudo Wave Trick in order to get early space jump. I've seen a lot of players struggle with this and wanted to make a how-to guide in order to help them. We'll be covering 3 topics in the video: setup, arm cannon positioning, and the flame crab. And with that, let's get started. First off, the basic setup. Run to this wall on the right and perform a running melee counter to get into this position here. Note that Samus's leg clips inside the wall in a lunging stance. From here, aim towards the ground. You will notice a gap to the left and a notch to the right where her arm cannon is. Charge up a plasma shot and release it by going into a morph ball. Note that this will not work if you release the charge shot by letting go of the Y button. Now that we have the setup, we need to understand arm cannon positioning and how to adjust. So, repeating the setup again, we're going to pay closer attention to the position of the arm cannon. You'll notice here that the arm cannon is center left of the block between the gap and the notch. Also, the left edge of the arm cannon is almost vertical, but just barely slanted over to the left. Lastly, you can see a good chunk of Samus's knee. This is the position that you want. Here are some examples of the arm positioning that we don't want. On this example, we are too far over to the right. You'll notice here that the arm cannon is off-center, leaning towards, if not touching, the notch to the right. The result here is that the charged beam will not even go through the floor. By contrast, in this next example, we are too far over to the left. You'll notice here that the arm cannon is to the left of the block, closer to the gap, and Samus's knee is more obscured than what we want. The result here is tricky because the shot does go through the floor, but not in the pattern that we want. Now I'm going to briefly go over shot patterns and what to look out for so you can adjust your aim. The first one here is taken when we pull too far over to the right. Notice the double circles. They are very close to the pattern that we want, as you'll see in a bit, but pulling too far over to the right results in the shot not passing through the floor. Next, we have a shot pulling too far over to the left. This time, we don't have the double circles, but the shot did make it through. This is not what we want, and it is very tricky because most players will think, well, at least I got the position right to shoot through the floor. However, they are mistaken and are probably losing a lot of time over this. And finally, this is an example of a perfect shot. We have the same double circles as the example too far over to the right, but the positioning allowed for a charge blast to go through the floor and hit the bomb block. Here are all 3 shot patterns: left, center, and right. You can see how the groupings of the double circles for center and right are very similar, but positioned differently. Meanwhile, the left, while hitting the flame crab, is completely scattered. Finally, I'll briefly go over the flame crab. Watch the back top tendril as it goes through a cycle of closing, rattling, and finally reaching. The goal is to hit the flame crab at the apex of its reach, just as it's touching the goal portion of the horn. After the close, wait for it to finish its rattle and begin the reach to release the charge shot. It may take a few attempts to get this timing right. And that's it. This is definitely one of the more difficult time skips in Metroid Dread, but once you practice it and get it down, it becomes significantly easier. I really hope you enjoyed my how-to tutorial. If you found it helpful, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I'm Oso, and thanks for watching.